as time goes on. We are recording this webinar, of course, and it'll be sent out to everybody just to make sure you don't miss anything. If you have any questions as we go through, please click on either the chat button or the Q&A button, and there's a menu bar. Sometimes it doesn't show up. Zoom changes the settings all the time, drives us nuts. But you should be able to find in the menu bar at the top or the bottom of your screen a chat button or a Q&A button, and please put your questions in there. So what we're going to cover today, first of all, I'm going to introduce your amazing host, our most beloved host. I always say that to Amber, but we have many beloved hosts.
No,
And
I
then
am
we're
the
gonna
most
Amber and I are
beloved. This
gonna
is
talk
completely
about every
accurate.
okay.
And the
Anyway,
most
I'm gonna
modest.
we Amber and I are gonna talk and the most modest. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm the most modest. This is how we work at Wheel and Anchor. Amber and I are going to talk about everything you need to know to prepare for your trip to Japan. And so we're going to cover all that stuff, all packing and mobile phones and communication, all that stuff. And then we're going to talk a little bit about arriving into Tokyo. And we're going to touch on the itinerary, but we're not going to go into great detail about it at all. If you do have questions about any part of the itinerary, you're wondering about something you read in the pre-trip information, please put in a message, a question in here, because if you have a question, maybe somebody else will have the same question. And we will get to all the questions with answers, hopefully, at the end of the webinar. So first and foremost, you are your fantabulous, amazing host who's just come back from hosting a trip in Cyprus, right?
That's correct.
And is going to be off again with you guys to who's be off again with you guys to Japan in just a few weeks' time. Amber, I'll pass the baton to you for the moment.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to be the host that is going to be with you for the entire trip. So the great thing about this trip is you not only are going to have me, but you're going to also have a host in training. So I'm calling her a hit woman, Kathleen, so you're going to have two of us on this trip. And so as your host and Kathleen being the hit woman, our jobs is to cross T's, dot I's, make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. And we're there to kind of be travelers with you, wade into dealing with any friction points, and generally making sure that you have one of the most fantastic trip you can have to Japan.
Exactly. And so, Amber, do you want to just qualify what your role is? Because I do see some names of members that may be traveling with us for the very first time, and I think it's important to know what the role of a host is as it compares to a local guide.
Absolutely. So our Wheel and Anchor trips are all designed to have a host. I'm like Julie, the cruise director. I've got the clipboard. I'm making sure that everything behind the scenes is going off the way that it needs to go off. I'm making sure that you guys are having a great time. We hire local guides by design. They are experts in the area. They are experts in the history. They are the people that are experts in the country that we're seeing, because I'm not an expert in Japan or Korea, though I have been to both places. Um, my job is more the logistics and making sure that we are confirming, reconfirming everything, dietary preferences, and just generally that the trip is going the way that Wheel and Anchor wants it to go.
Exactly. So that's the main thing that's the differentiation, as Amber said. And we have a great local guide in Japan. Well, in all the spots, but particularly Japan. I'm 90% sure it's Thomas. And he's is it Thomas, Amber? I think
It may
our
or may
local
not
guide
be
in Japan.
Thomas. I'm just talking with
Okay.
Thomas to
Anyway,
see if it's Thomas or someone else.
if it's Thomas or David, I mean, all the guides that we have in Japan are
Yeah,
awesome. Like these guys are great.
exactly.
So, and they're the ones that are getting you all the cultural details and history and all the facts and figures and so on about Japan. So, with that said, let's move on and talk about what do we need to know to go to Japan? Because I imagine many of you, if not all of you, it'll be the first time traveling to Japan, and there's a bit of culture shock. And what do I bring? And what do I need? And what's the weather like? So let's get into that now. let's talk about the most important thing of all, your passport. So first of all, make sure that you know where it is, considering that you're leaving in a month's time. And so assuming that you know where it is, you're good to go because you don't need, there's no visas required for Japan or Korea for those participating in the Korea portion of the trip. Um, so you got your passport, you're good to go. Now, I want to say one thing though about Korea for those who are participating in the trip to Korea. Um, there is the option to get what's called an electronic travel authorization. Many countries have these now. The UK has it now. Australia, New Zealand, and Canada has it for people coming in. Basically, it's like an arrival card that we used to fill in by hand, and now it's electronic. It is not mandatory. You can fill in the arrival card like before when you arrive into the airport in Seoul. Um, you can, on the other hand, though, fill it in advance electronically. The link is in the pre-trip information document. Completely. So don't fret if you like doing things the old-fashioned way, just worry about it when you get there. But otherwise, you can do it online. Starting next year, it'll be mandatory to do it in advance. But so far, we're good to go. And the only other thing I want to say about your passport, and this is kind of the case for a lot of countries, and so it's something we have to keep an eye on. I got sort of my fingers wrapped in Europe in December because it was full. It happens to me every 3 or 4 years. It should be valid for at least 6 months after your return date, and it should have 2 blank pages in it. More and more countries are getting a little bit sticky about that. And it used to be in Europe that they never said anything about that, but now they do. Japan, probably not, but if your passport's getting full, probably time to renew it. And then I would also my you know pro tip traveler advice, take a picture of your passport with your phone so you've got an extra copy of it, and even make a photocopy of it if you don't have one already. It's always good to have that information saved, stored in an extra place, so that there's, God forbid anything should happen to it, you've got a copy of it. Good. I still think I need to say anything more about that. Let's get into the most important part. What do we bring to go to Japan?
What do you
Amber,
bring?
I'll fill in the blanks. What to bring? What should I bring? A suitcase, as
A
small as
suitcase.
possible, but as big as.
So, what everybody needs to know about me is I'm a carry-on gal. So, I believe less is more. And so,
Mhm.
Japan, especially with the amount of moving that we're doing, I suggest whittle down what you need. That said, the temperatures are quite moderate. So they're low to mid 20s during the day. They'll go down into the teens in the evening. So you're going to want to always bring light layers. I do suggest a rain jacket of sort, a small umbrella, just because at this time of year there can be showers. And as everyone knows, wheel and anchor trips, we are rain or shine, baby. So we are not going to melt. You'll just want to make sure that you have the right clothing. I do always recommend comfortable walking shoes. Japan, this is one of the most imperative countries to have good, comfortable walking shoes. And beyond that, I recommend a minimum of 2 pairs of shoes, if not 3. So a change is as good as a break. So when you have been walking all day in 1 pair of shoes, changing to a new pair of shoes the next day will have your body feel different in those shoes. It will save your feet. It will save blisters. So I am a huge, huge proponent of having a couple of pairs of shoes.
Mm.
You are definitely going to need some modest clothing. And so when you're thinking about what you're going to be wearing each day, you'll be thinking about, we'll be going into a lot of temples. And temples are some modest shoulders covered, knees covered. And so when you're packing, you'll, want to keep that in mind. Generally, all of Wheel and Anchor trips are casual, comfortable clothes. But especially when we're going into any countries where we're going to be into a lot of temples, women may also want to pack a scarf of sorts, which they can use if they're wearing spaghetti straps or a tank top. They can use a scarf to cover up. Also, some temples sometimes require covering heads. And if you don't want to use a scarf that's provided by the temple, you can pull out your scarf and use that as well. The big thing to also keep in mind are the shoes that you're wearing. You don't want to be packing your hiking boots that take you 10 minutes to undo and then do up. Every temple we go to, shoes will be coming off. We'll be walking in. Then you have to put your shoes back on. And so you want to be mindful of that you don't have your most complicated shoes to be doing that. As well, wearing socks. So some of us, wear holy socks. Some of us wear different colored socks when you can't see them. You want to be mindful, everyone is going to be seeing your socks. So you want to think about that when you're packing. The socks, because they're going to be on full display. You will be wandering around temples in your sock feet quite often. What else? A day pack. So
Yeah.
on our experience trips, we have full days. We are seeing a lot of things. You are going to want to make sure that you're prepared to have a place to put your water bottle, to put your umbrella, to put your rain jacket. If you are someone who likes to snack like me, you want a place that you can have your snacks. So a very light day pack, something that you can leave on the buses or the vans when we're going into the temple, come back to, or that you can wear all day when we're on our walking tours, is definitely something to be mindful of. I think that's it. Did I miss anything, G?
That's it. No, you didn't miss anything. Adapters. Now, if you're just going
Mm,
to Japan, like I'm talking about electrical plugs, right?
yeah.
They use the same plugs as we do. So in Japan, you're good. The voltage is a little bit lower, but not so much that it's going to affect anything that you use. If you are going to be going to Korea with us,
Korea.
they use 220 volt. Korea uses the same voltage as Europe, and they also use the plugs that are the same as in Europe, just to make life complicated. So for Korea, you'll want to have an adapter. And there's a picture of it in the pre-trip information document. Again, it's a European style adapter, or if you have a multi-prong adapter, then that's always the best. Anyway, keep that in mind. And again, for Korea, because it's a different voltage, most of your things, the most important thing of all, your phone charger will be fine. There's only if you have an odd device that you're taking with you, like a hearing aid charger. Sometimes they only work on 110. So just keep that in mind. And if you have a worry or a concern about that, you can just mail or just look at the label on the back of the thing, and we'll sort you out. But I think you okay. But I think we've covered everything. Oh no, actually, one important thing to remember. So which is up on the north coast on the Sea of Japan, down to Kyoto. Your luggage is going to be forwarded on for you, your main piece of luggage. Okay.
Mhm.
And so you're going to take like an overnight bag, something really small. So keep that in mind that whatever combination of suitcase,
Gordon, we're losing you a little bit, so I am going to
extra
take over
bag that
talking
you
for you.
have, that you've got something where it's like, yeah, I've got a change of clothes. Can you still hear me?
No,
Yes, no?
no, I'm going to repeat
Okay.
what you said just because we couldn't hear you.
Okay, great.
So you'll want to make
Sorry.
sure that whatever combination that you're taking on the plane for your sort of carry-on bag, that you can duplicate that, use it as an overnight bag, because we will need to be just forwarding our larger luggage and taking a smaller amount that we're packing in just for sort of an overnight at points during this trip. So when you're planning what you're going to be taking on the plane with you, you want to make sure that whatever your extra bag is can accommodate everything that you'll need for an overnight bag as well.
Perfect. Yep, that's it. Bang on. Can you hear me again now? Okay,
Now we can
awesome.
hear
Hopefully
you.
the
Yep,
internet will stay stable. Okay, great. Yay. Sally asked a good question. Do I need to bring a swimsuit? It's a good question. Um,
always.
i- Swimming pools and so on. Yeah, I would say yes. Bring one. And Sally goes on to mention about the baths being suit free. What Sally's referring to are the onsen baths. This is in Takayama, in Suwa, in some of the different stops that we make. And those are clothing is not allowed, are naked. Not like Central Europe, they are separated. Men and women have their own areas. So in those areas, you actually are not really allowed for the onsen. You do, just have to deal with stuff that comes up around that. But always swimsuit anyway, because you never know. You
Gordon, we're losing you again.
want to swim at
So let me just reiterate what I believe
on the
Gordon was
coast at
saying.
covered
Gordon?
everything on.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat what Gordon was saying. So do you need to bring a swimsuit or not? Do you need to bring a swimsuit? If you don't plan on swimming, no. However, my traveler in me is always like, you should always have a swimsuit, because whenever you don't have a swimsuit is when an unexpected time for you to be able to swim comes up, and you don't want to miss out. So I always suggest popping in a little swimsuit just in case, because it's one of those things that you never want to have a regret about not swimming if there's an opportunity. That said, there's a question about the onsens. So yes, the traditional baths in Japan generally are suit-free, and you're not able to wear suits. They are usually separated by men and women, and it's completely optional if you want to visit one. We can definitely be talking about, once we're on the ground, some onsens that are available. We can talk to our local guide, and in each place get some recommendations if it's something that you want to do. I have been to onsens with baths that actually you could wear a suit. So it was a number of years ago. I don't know if they still exist, but that is also an option. Okay, so I'm just going to continue without Gordon. Can someone just type in the question and answer to let me know that you can actually still hear me? I'm not sure if we've lost Gordon and lost the connection. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know, guys. Okay, I'm going to continue without Gordon, and just keep putting some questions in there, and I'll come back to them at the end. So let's take a look. Mobile phone and internet. Let's chat about that. So Wi-Fi is going to be available at the hotels, and in Japan, Wi-Fi, as well as Korea, is in many public places. That said, we are also going to be giving you a local SIM card upon arrival, and it will include data and local calls. If you happen to have a phone, though, that requires an eSIM, you'll need to make those arrangements. Because we just don't have an eSIM plan that we can reliably offer to everyone. It becomes personal preference. Now, why do we offer SIM cards in this particular trip? Our experience is that Japan can be pretty overwhelming for people, and navigating becomes like there's a huge battle of getting around and understanding where you are. Using Google Maps is your friend. It makes getting on public transportation super straightforward and easy. It requires data. We find that travelers are so much happier, much more confident when they have data and have access to it. And so we're making sure that everybody has access to that. That said, you'll want to be bringing a mobile device that is unlocked before your departure. Most mobile devices at this point, your cell phones, are naturally unlocked. If you have a question, reach out to your supplier in Canada, and they will let you know if your phone is locked or unlocked. If it's locked, they can easily unlock it for you. That's the requirement. I can give you a hand on site in getting everything up and running with the SIM card once you arrive. Now, Telegram is the means of communication that Wheel and Anchor uses for all of our trips. Telegram is an app that goes onto your phone. You need to set up the app, download it onto your phone, set up your account, and reach out to me on Telegram prior to leaving the country. There's things that you need to do to authenticate the Telegram app before you change out the SIM card. So you cannot wait to get to Japan when you get the new SIM card, or you won't have access to Telegram. Telegram is like an instant messaging sort of system. You'll notice that we have a channel set up, and a channel is a one-way broadcast from me to you. So if I need to get last minute information out, we have a major change the next day, I'll send it out on Telegram and it goes out to all of you. We also will have a group chat, and the group chat is a place where you guys can chat with each other, make recommendations. So it's a group chat where all of us will be in the chat. We can make plans to go for a walk, or tell somebody about a great shopping place that you bought. The Telegram group chat becomes a great tool for just getting together and coordinating us as a group. Telegram will work even when you change out your SIM card. So unlike your text messaging, which when you take out your SIM card, your text messaging changes to the new SIM card, Telegram is more like WhatsApp or Messenger, where when we change out the SIM card, it continues to work. Just getting a message from Gordon. He's trying to get back online, so he just wants us to know that. So for everybody that has already reached out to me on Telegram, thank you. To everybody else, let's do it in the next day or two. Reach out to me and say hello. I'll get everybody into the group chat, and you guys can start getting to know each other online so that when we are arriving, we all know each other. There's also a way to add your picture into your Telegram. I recommend everybody do this because then we start to recognize each other at the airport. We recognize each other on the trip, and it's an easy way to start remembering names. That's pretty advanced, though. So if you don't know how to do
Oh,
that, I can help you do that once you arrive on site. Hi, Gordon. We can see you.
can you? Okay, good. I cannot see you. I'm so sorry about that. That's called airport Wi-Fi. What slide are we on?
So I don't know how to do the slides, so I haven't been doing anything with that.
Oh, no,
So I
no,
have
no, no.
no idea what slide we're
Can you
on.
see the slides?
I can't see the slides either.
Okay.
We're right now just finishing talking about
Okay. I'll.
Telegram in cellular.
Okay, great,
And we have a question from
great. Okay.
Sally about how much data do we get? I don't know at this point the exact
There we go.
makeup of the SIM cards, so we don't know how much data.
Eh,
My
You'll have enough.
experience, you'll have enough. Exactly. It's like generally, I'm the only one that runs out of data because I'm a total hog on data, and we can also re-up it if needed be.
Okay, great. Screen sharing.
We are
Okay.
seeing your
So,
Slack messages, Gordon.
okay. Yeah, I know. I'm trying very hard to get back to where I was. Are we back on to?
There we go. We
Okay.
see gratuities, which money and currency is what we're on next. So what do I need to pay? Yep, perfect.
Okay. All right. So we're in the right place. My sincere apologies. The fun of
All good.
travel.
All good.
Okay. So are we in the right place?
You're in the right place. Yeah. You want
Great.
to
Will we
keep
talk about
going?
this for a second? Okay, great.
Please go.
So in terms of gratuities, everything that all the gratuities that are or all of the services that we provide, that's the drivers, the guides, the restaurants, we look after those gratuities. So the only time you have to worry about gratuities is for stuff that you do on your own. So if we have a dinner that's not included, you go out for dinner, um, then there might be gratuity. Now, here's the thing about Japan. Gratuities are not actually welcomed. So so gratuity in Japan, tipping is in some cases actually considered to be an insult.
Yeah.
So you don't tip. So that's an important thing. We tip the guides and the drivers, which is sort of universal around the world. But in the case of restaurants in particular, just pay the bill. That's all you need to do. And you don't have to worry about you know you don't have to worry about anything. And if there is a change to that, if there's any place where there's some place where it might be appropriate, if Amber isn't already taking care of it as your host, she will let you know. But otherwise, it's easy. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's nice. Mobile communications you talked about already. Is there anything
Hmm.
else we need to talk about?
Nope, I don't think so.
Nope. Okay, perfect. So let's move along. Health protocols. There's really only a couple things we want to mention here. First and foremost, if you feel unwell, if you have a cough or a sneeze, or if you develop that during the trip at any time, number one, let Amber know, and number two, please, 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 bring and wear a mask, because we obviously want to avoid seeing stuff around. With all the stuff going around in the world, God knows what it is. Please wear a mask, and in particular when we are in confined spaces. And you'll see in Japan people all over the place wearing masks because they're very diligent about it. They're very conscious about not spreading their germs. So you'll see people on public transit and on the bullet train and all these places,
Yeah.
if they're not feeling well, wearing a mask. So we ask you to do the same. Second thing, if you should injure yourself in any way, even a minor, a trip and a sprain, or you feel like you twisted your ankle or something like that, whatever it is, again, please let Amber know. We want to return you home the same shape that you arrived in or better. So that's our request. And then the last thing is pretty simple and straightforward. We don't no smoking on our trips. So that is in the confines of everything that we do together as a group. Please, no smoking. In Japan, people do still smoke profusely, but their rules about where they can smoke are, like at home, very, very strict. Like no public places and certainly no transportation or anything like that. I don't think we need to say anything more else about that, do we, Amber? Yeah.
Nope, that's good.
Amazing. Okay, great. So let's talk now about arriving into Tokyo. But before we arrive, we have to leave. And when we leave, a very important thing, pay attention to your emails on your phone or on your computer, in the 24 hours before you leave, because if there's a delay to your flight, which very often the airlines know even before the plane is even there that you might have a delay, then you want to be aware of that. Then the most important thing of all is that if you are not going to be on the flight arriving into Tokyo that you were booked on, so let's say you're flying from Toronto to Vancouver and Vancouver to Tokyo, and if you miss that connection because of whatever issue that happened, you please need to let Amber know by telegram right away. So that's really, really important because we just don't want to have a driver like searching all up and down up in the airport, not knowing where you are, and then you show up on a later flight and there's nobody there to meet you. We want to avoid those eventualities. So that's really important that you let Amber know about that. Now, on the less important side, but something we highly recommend, obviously there's a big time difference between Canada and Tokyo, particularly if you're coming from the east side of the country. Amber, well, Amber, you talk about Time Shifter because this
Oh,
is
yeah.
your thing.
It's my baby. I
It's
found
your
an
baby.
app called Time Shifter, and this has been game changing for me as a host, where I'm flying into a country and within 45 or within 24 hours, I have guests arriving and I am working from the moment that I really arrive. Shifter is an app where you enter in where you are, where you're going to, your flight and everything, and you start to change your circadian rhythm really slightly by just doing what the app tells you to do 3 days before your trip. It also will take into account when you're flying, so it doesn't tell you to be sleeping while you're sitting in the lounge, basically. But it has you just do a few things that I have now flown most places. So I've flown to Asia a number of times, Europe, even from New Zealand home and to Australia, without any jet experience of jet lag, where I have no
Mm.
downtime. And so, as an investment in your trip, I highly recommend trying Time Shifter and, being diligent about wearing sunglasses when it tells you to wear sunglasses. Try to rest and sleep and cover your eyes when you can, and it makes you enjoying your trip that much better. So, Time Shifter is the name of the app, and I highly recommend it. I'll be using it for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you've taken the flight, make yourself comfortable for the flight, stay well hydrated, all the usual rules. You'll arrive into Tokyo Haneda Airport. Um, when you on your way over or before you arrive, make sure you have your transfer voucher handy. So this is the piece of paper that will tell you who's going to pick you up, the name of the transfer company, the phone number. It's also going to have a reminder of Amber's Telegram address if in case there's any problem. so that you know exactly what's going to happen when you arrive. And you pass through immigration customs and you come out, and somebody will meet you in the arrival hall at Tokyo Haneda Airport, and they'll have you a sign with Wheel and Anchor and your name, or either or both. And so look around. Tokyo, as you can imagine, is a pretty busy airport, so there'll be lots of people there. But give yourself time, and you know, if you don't see them right away, just have a look around, because it is quite a busy place. If for some reason you can't find your driver within sort of 10 minutes or so of looking around after you've come out, then that's when you again log on to the Wi-Fi if you're not already connected to the internet, and send Amber a message, and she'll make sure that she connects you to your driver.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just the most important part.
Let me
We've
say this,
never lost
Gordon.
anybody.
We have never
And
lost
so
anybody.
yeah, please.
I'm just going to say though, all 6 people that Wheel and Anchor is arranging the transfers for are all on the same flight.
Yes,
All of you are arriving on the same
exactly.
flight. And so as a group, you'll be all transferring together. And so I will put into the group chat on Telegram, um, that you guys are all coming into the same flight. So I highly recommend that you be talking with each other, because as a group, you'll all be getting together, meeting the driver out in the arrivals hall and going from there. I will be on the ground coordinating the pickup with the driver. I will be in touch with the driver. And so I'm the person that you should be getting in touch with,
Yeah,
not the driver directly. I'm making sure that everything will be going off without a hitch, and I'll coordinate amongst you. So I recommend you guys getting onto Telegram as soon as you land, because all 6 of you will be getting together and then transferring together.
exactly. Perfect. Um, okay, let's move on. Can you still hear me? My internet sounds like it's going wonky again. Still okay?
You're okay?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yep.
Um, just a reminder of the route. You're starting in Tokyo. You're gonna do a couple of excursions, particularly Kamakura. It's a lovely town down on the coast. You're gonna go overland by a small bus down to Hakone. You're gonna go, if the weather permits, you'll go partway up the side of Mount Fuji. And you'll go pass through the beautiful countryside, Matsumoto, Takayama, with the beautiful thatched roof houses. Amazing spots, Kanazawa, which is on the Sea of Japan. As I mentioned, it's kind of on the northwest coast of the country. And this is where the samurai warriors used to come from. You'll then head by train. This is a regular train from Kanazawa down to Tokyo. That's where your luggage is going to be sent ahead to Tokyo, excuse me, Kyoto.
Kyoto.
And then from Kyoto, you're going to be making side trips, the most notable of which is by bullet train. This will be your first bullet train experience, zipping all the way over to Hiroshima, which is like 500 kilometers away, but you get there in like an hour and a half. It's amazing. It's so much fun. You're going to love it. You go down to Hiroshima for the day and back. And then at the end, you're going to be heading over to Osaka, which is not far away, and you're going to be then departing from there. I think everybody's departing with you on, is that right, Amber? Or no, yeah,
I believe so.
or no? Okay.
I'm not
Uh,
sure. I'm not looking at the
Not sure.
information.
Okay. But so if you're not, you're going to be flying back from there, or otherwise you're continuing on to Korea. So that's the overview of the itinerary. Here's an amazing view from Kamakura. This is the little town that you're going to be visiting, sort of like a suburb of Tokyo. And if you're lucky and you get a clear day like this, you'll get an incredible view of Mount Fuji. It's really awesome. Tokyo is a huge city. You've got some free time there, and it will occur as overwhelming. At the same time, people are super friendly. If you've got, again, this is why we give you SIM cards, because with the mobile data you can get around, and Google Maps. If you don't already know how to use Google Maps, I highly suggest you verse yourself in this, because it will make being in Tokyo and getting around so much easier. It does occur as overwhelming, but honestly, it's one of the safest cities anywhere in the world. And everything works literally like clockwork. Like the trains, the buses, everything works like a charm, and people are super friendly. And even if they don't speak fantastic English, they're going to try their darndest. And let's face it, with technology, Google Translate, you can get anywhere and do anything. So that's Tokyo. As I say, you'll hopefully see. It obviously depends on the weather. Mount Fuji from a couple of different angles. You're going to be up in the countryside in Takayama, and you'll see some of the the ancient temples and pagodas and so on and so forth. Again, like the countryside is you'll think you won't expect this from Japan, and that's really what I love about touring around Japan. Um, Kanazawa is a bigger city. Again, you're going to be staying very close to the railway station. I see all the questions coming in. We'll address them in just a moment. Again, you're going to spend a couple of days in here and learning a little bit about the history of the samurai and all the rest of it. Then you're going to head down to Kyoto, my favorite city. This is like the cultural heart of the country. Eh, You're going to be staying in a very strategic location, which is right downtown. And so this kind of looks like any other big city, but not far away as we go by coach down to Nara, the former imperial capital, out to the Inari temples, which is all those red gateways, arches. Oh, anyway, Kyoto is going to be absolutely amazing, and you're really going to enjoy it. But again, the cities can occur as overwhelming because there's a lot of people, and we're going to go by train, and we're going to go, and you're going to see this is part of the excitement and the adventure. But just be prepared for it because this is a densely populated country, but everything works amazing and it's perfectly safe. That's the main things that I want to get across to you on that. For those continuing to Korea, you're going to be staying our trip is focused around Seoul because there's so much to see around the greater Seoul area. So you're going to be staying in the area called Myeongdong and heading out to all historical sites, the most important of which being Gyeongbokgung Palace. So you'll see the historical side, but you'll also see the modern and uh, and all the rest of it. I love one of the suburbs where you see the old Korean houses, pretty Seoul, but and I remember the fruit because it felt more real and it felt more gritty. It's a matter of opinion, I suppose. You are going to be making a trip up to the demilitarized zone. This is the border area between South Korea and North Korea. It's all perfectly safe. You get a fascinating story into the history and about the relations between North and South Korea since the time of the Korean War. Again, a fascinating day. You will likely need to bring your passport, but for this day, but Amber will let you know. It all depends on where things are at because the whole environment there changes literally on a day-to-day basis. But this is a very, very interesting tour. The only thing I'm going to say about the North Korea tour, and Amber will tell you, there is one opportunity to go down into a tunnel that was dug underneath the border between North and South Korea. If you are someone who's claustrophobic, or if you don't like to walk down through a passage where you have to be a little bit hunched over, I would recommend that you don't participate in that it's a 15-minute thing. So that's the only thing I want to about that. And oh, shoot, did we lose? Okay, now what happened? Oh, there it's back.
Gordon,
Okay,
we can see
questions
your
and
desktop.
answers.
There we go.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Okay, it's okay now.
Mhm.
Sorry. Okay, so a few questions here. How much initial cash would you recommend to bring? Is asked by Debbie. You don't need a lot of cash in Japan. Like credit cards are even more ubiquitous than they are at home. I wouldn't bother with a lot of cash. If you have like $100 worth of Japanese yen, that'll probably last you the whole trip because you can use credit cards anywhere. So, and personally, I wouldn't show up with one single yen. I would not go to a bank in Canada and buy Japanese yen. Honestly, not worth it. First of all, they won't have it, and it's a nightmare. I would, maybe grab $100 worth of Japanese yen out when you arrive at the airport in Tokyo or near your hotel. But honestly, cash is not really that important on this trip. Um, Debbie asks, is it still just the Murray and the Leviks in South Korea?
It is.
I don't, it is. Okay.
It
So
is.
Debbie, the answer is yes. There you go. Sally asked, do you recommend buying a Japanese knife in Tokyo or Kyoto? Doesn't really matter. You'll find probably more shops with those kind of handicrafts in Kyoto is my impression from the first time we did this trip a while back. That being said, my attitude for shopping is if you see something you like, buy it then and there, and don't wait because you might not see the same thing again, right? It's called buyer's remorse. Like, oh damn, I should have got it. There will be places, but Kyoto may be a bit more, but yeah, it's six of one, half a dozen the other. I wouldn't say one of the other. On free days, do we have suggested walking tours? So our guide can sort of point you in the direction of what to do. There's also there's also tours you could book through the hotel. So there are definitely things to do. My advice though, do a little bit of research, Google Map where the hotel is, and um, ask AI for that matter. What should I do for a walking tour? And put in some of your interests. Um, that way you can find something that's interesting for you. Tokyo has everything under the sun, everything under the sun. Historical, cultural, with modern day life, technology. I mean, you name it, they've got it. So that's why it's really a little bit about what kind of interests that you have. Okay. I
There's
think we've
also a
answered all the
question about
questions.
the number
Okay.
of people that are on the
Which is
Japan
13,
trip.
right?
13 and then plus the two hosts.
Yep.
Yep.
And I see a question here. Carol asked if you're going to have access to a laundromat. Uh, we'll find you a laundromat. I mean, this isn't a super long trip. I would bring sufficient so you don't have to worry about washing clothes or otherwise just, some necessities, some undergarments kind of in the sink kind of a thing. I wouldn't say that it's super convenient to do a laundromat, but they can be found. But yeah, otherwise the hotel obviously will have laundry facilities, all the hotels throughout. That's my advice. Whenever I've been to Japan, I haven't used the like laundry services like in other countries. I think it's just as easy to try and get through without laundry, right? Good. Okay, I think we made it through.
There's a question about how many guys are on the trip. I think it's
As in
men.
how many gentlemen are on the trip?
Gentlemen, yep. One, two, three,
I don't have the list in front of me. Amber, have you got it right
four,
there
five,
handy?
six. I would say almost half. So
Half and half.
almost half. So I'd say there's at least six men. I'm going purely based on, gender typical men's names. Here we are. I think we're about six.
Okay, there we go. Half and half.
Half and
It's
half.
almost unusual for us. We normally have a majority in favor of women. This time it's almost half and half. So if you have any other questions at all, thank you, first of all, for indulging us, particularly me and my technology challenges today. Please drop us a note. I put here the email address of Melody. That being said, if you've been, currently speaking to Paula or to Aura, whoever you've last been in contact with, but if you have a question that comes out of the blue, drop a note to Melody, and she will absolutely get back to you with an answer. We want to make sure that you're well prepared for this journey
Yeah.
around Japan.
The other thing that you're
And
welcome to
it
do
seems
is
like a very exotic. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
the other thing is you're welcome to reach out to me on Telegram if you have questions. And if you haven't already, I will reiterate that you should be reaching out to me on Telegram in the next couple of days. So I look forward to hearing from everyone I haven't heard from already.
Get in touch with Amber because she needs to know that you're there and that you've got connection. Now it'll make a difference, particularly if you have any challenges on your trip over. Have a marvelous time in Japan. You're going to want to go back. You're going to love it so much. It's such I have no words to describe. It's an amazing place. Bon voyage. And if we haven't met before, please come out this summer and see us at one of the up summer social events. Would love to see you there. We're going to be in 13 cities across Canada. I'm going to be at all of them. Amber is only going to be at some of them. But we'd love to see you. Please sign up and so I can meet you all in person. Take care, everybody. Thanks again. And yeah, have a great rest of the day.